Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. Have you looked under your Christmas tree lately? Are there presents there? Are you sure they're presents? Are you sure they're not going to transform into robots and kill you in your sleep tonight? Probably not, but you never know. Anybody that's watched this channel for a while will know I'm a little bit of a Transformers fan, as well as role-playing game fan. And I think it's kind of weird that over the years, Hasbro has owned Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast makes Dungeons & Dragons. If you look online, there's actually a lot of people that's wanted a Transformers role-playing game for years, but Hasbro never did it. So another company, Fantasy Flight Games, beat them to the punch and put out their own Transformers game. They don't call it Transformers, they call it something else. They change up the storyline a little bit, but it's Transformers. They beat Hasbro to it. They are scheduled to come out with an official Transformers game sometime next year, but somebody else beat them to the punch. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video. We're going to talk about Mechamorphisis. This book has 62 pages and a copyright of 2004. It was published by Fantasy Flight Games, and all of the artwork in this book is in black and white. So let's go ahead and look at that artwork. All of the artwork in this book is in black and white. And it's pretty decent too, giving you a good look at what the Mechamorphs are, as well as setting a good mood and tone for this game. To play this game, what you're going to need is a copy of this book and a copy of the Player's Handbook, either 3rd edition or 3.5, and you could probably even use the D20 Modern book. And you also need a full set of dice. A full set of dice containing a 20-sided die, a 12-sided die, preferably 2 10-sided dice for rolling both percentiles and tens, an 8-sided die, a 6-sided die, and a 4-sided die. Now, this game is set up to be used with the Player's Handbook from 3rd edition, and as such, your character will use the standard array of stats found in all D20 games. Those stats being strength, constitution, dexterity, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Now, the way they work is all the attributes, instead of rolling them up, all the attributes will start at 8. And it's a point-buy system, so you'll have a certain number of points to split up amongst them. Those points will be determined on a priority scale. And there are several aspects of your character that you prioritize. And the more important something is, the better off it starts. There are 5 priorities. You have your alt form design, which is your vehicle form. Your form feats, which are special feats to revolve around your transformation. Your ability scores, which gives you a number of ability scores to split up amongst your ability scores at character creation. Your special powers, which we'll talk about special powers more in a bit, but the more you put into it, either the more lesser powers you get, or the bigger power you get, depending on how you prioritize it and choose. And then you also have gear. The gear is special pieces of equipment and stuff that are attached to you and stuff like that. There are 4 classes in this game. There is the controller, the scientist, the scout, and the soldier. There are no prestige classes in this game, but I believe somebody made some up and put them online if you want to look for it. And they're pretty cool. But you then pick your alt form, and there's a chart in here full of transformations that your character can pick from, depending on how he prioritizes it. And it gives weights and heights and size levels and stuff. and different other things for each transformation. And you can even put a higher priority in a transformation than what is called for, and then you can do what's called mass shifting. So that way you could have a character be a 20, 30 foot tall robot that transforms into a normal sized cell phone or laptop, which is cool. And it goes through and explains a bunch of that. You also have special powers. Special powers are kind of like spell-like abilities. And it actually has some spells transferred over into special powers and gives them new names. And it's got some brand new stuff to add as special powers. But it goes through and it tells you how you could pick a spell and add it to your character as a spell-like ability. And you just change the name up for the setting. Kind of like if you had invisibility, you would now call it cloak. If you had lightning rod, lightning bolt, it might be electric discharge or something. And if you had fireball or what have you, it might be a flamethrower now, so forth. And that's pretty neat. And that's pretty much it for character creation. It gives the whole story of the Mechamorphs, as they call them in this book. And they're essentially just Transformers. Gives their history, tells about them. They run all, instead of using Energon, they use Nexus energy. And it talks about how to run that and how to create new Mechamorphs and stuff. And it's just weird. But anyway, it's a pretty neat book. They made several of these little mini games to go along with third edition. They got this. There's a game called Spell Slinger, which is basically Dungeons and Dragons set in the Old West. They got one called Grimm, which you play a child in the Old West, a child in the Grimm fairy tales and stuff. And there's a few others, but I can't remember the other names. There used to be a character sheet in the back of this book that you could photocopy, but somebody tore it out of my book, and I don't have it no more. It gets into the special vehicle rules and stuff in here. And all in all, it's pretty complete, except for the rules that you get in the player's handbook. Which brings me to 3 questions. Would I play a character in this game? Absolutely. I'm a fan of the Transformers, so I would play this. Would I run this game? Again, fanboy, yes I would. Would I recommend this book? If you can't wait for the official Transformers role-playing game to come out next year, then you should probably check this out. It will definitely fill your need for then. But that's pretty much all I got to say for Mechamorphs for right now. Thank you for joining me at a look at this game, and hopefully you'll join me next time where we'll talk about something else. Bye.